welcome. We're here today. I'm Ellen McHale. I'm the Executive Director of New York Folklore. This is a series that's sponsored by New York Folklore. We're based in Schenectady, New York. We're a statewide service organization for folk and traditional arts in New York State. And we are funded by the National Endowment for the Arts and from the New York State Council on the Arts through Governor Andrew Cuomo and the New York State Legislature. And today is our final day of the series. So this is a bittersweet moment. We've had 20 days and this is the final presentation. I also, before we begin, I wanted to mention once again that we're doing a COVID-19 relief fund. New York Folklore is launching that to assist folk and traditional artists across New York State who are experiencing hardship due to COVID-19. So we ask that you visit us on Facebook or see our GoFundMe page under New York Folklore. It will directly assist artists with small one-time grants. So please join us today. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to our host. Today, our host is Jorge Arevalo Mateus, who is the Executive Director of the Association for Cultural Equity in New York. And he'll be taking it away. Welcome, Jorge.
Thank you, Ellen. Hi, welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, New York Folklore. Thank you, everyone that's helping our folk artists get through this very difficult time. I want to be very informal today. I've known Johanna Castaneda and her family for many years now. I guess probably around 10 years or so. And one thing that we stress in this program today, which is, it is kind of sad, it's the final program of the series, but at the same time, it's going to be a showstopper, I promise you that. The Castaneda family, it's all about family. And I've worked with a lot of the Colombian musicians in the New York metropolitan area for many years. And there are some families that are really the center of the cohesiveness of the musicians community, and the Castaneda is certainly one of those families. Also, I've known Johanna as a performer, as a teacher, as a dancer, as a singer. She wears many hats. She's multi-talented and very versatile. I think of Johanna as a very modern traditionalist. She's from Bogota, Colombia, and comes from a highly musical family. Her father, Pablito, and brother Edmar Castaneda are both virtuoso performers and harpists on the arpa llanera, which is the central instrument of the genre música llanera and the ensemble of the same name. Música llanera is a style or genre of traditional music, singing and dancing from Los Llanos Orientales, or the eastern plains that traverse the border between Colombia and Venezuela, which, by the way, is a point of national pride and tension for both countries. Both lay claim to the genre. Johanna's work also crosses borders, eliding folk and popular musical boundaries. At a very young age, she attended El Centro Cultural Llanero in Tunja, which is north of Bogota, in Boyacá, that's the state. It's a school of folklore music that specializes in música from Los Llanos, where she developed her love and expertise of the tradition. This is a style of music, a genre that's rarely performed in our area, and Johanna is one of the very few people that can actually present this in a very beautiful and dynamic manner. But that's not all. Johanna also performs and manages Grupo Revolu with her husband, Ronald Polo, and their musical collaborator, Morris Cañate. They are, without a doubt, one of the most dynamic Colombian bands in New York City, specializing in the popular music of the Afro-Colombian Atlantic Caribbean region. Today, however, we will hear more of the llanera side of Johanna's musical world, and more. So I'm very happy to welcome Johanna. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be able to do music via, virtually for everyone to watch from their homes, which is even better. So why not listen to great music like this? I appreciate, the invitation from Jorge and also from Ellen from New York Folklore Society. So I'm excited to show this. this music is something that really brings back all the memories when I first started in my musical career. This is how I started music, doing música llanera, dancing joropo, playing some cuatro, a little bit of it, so I can accompany myself to sing. So it really brings a lot of memories, and it really gets my heart pumped, definitely, because it's just, this is my life, and music has taken me to so many good things, and I appreciate to this genre of music, which is the one that created really everything that I've done in the musical field. So thank you for having me here.
Johanna, please just take it away. Play some songs. Would you play some songs for us? And tell us
Of course, yes. And I want to start with one of the songs that I think when, if I remember my back in the days when I started singing and dancing Horopo, I think it was my first song that I ever learned and started singing. And I think somewhere I have a recording of myself when I was a very young girl singing the song. So Casita Bella, it's a very popular song too. It's almost like a standard song in the música llanera and this music. So I want to share that song because it just kind of brings me back to when I was a little girl singing this song. Okay, so it's Casita Bella. Quiero comprar para ti una casa bella que tenga lirios y claveles al entrar, donde se cojan con la mano las estrellas, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar. Quiero comprar para ti una casa bella que tenga lirios y claveles al entrar, donde se cojan con la mano las estrellas, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde el celaje de un perrito centinela hace la noche de la puerta a los balcones, con sus ladridos y sus ojos de candela, no deje el chico que se acerquen los ladrones, donde podamos bailar este joropito, como se baila en todo el llano apureño, a punta sola, poco a poco y trancadito, oyendo el arpa del maestro figuereño. Quiero comprar para ti una casa bella que tenga lirios y claveles al entrar, donde se cojan con la mano las estrellas, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar. Quiero comprar para ti una casa bella que tenga lirios y claveles al entrar, donde se cojan con la mano las estrellas, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde el celaje de un perrito centinela hace la noche de la puerta a los balcones, con sus ladridos y sus ojos de candela, no deje el chico que se acerquen los ladrones, donde podamos bailar este joropito, como se baila en todo el llano apureño, a punta soga, poco a poco y trancadito, oyendo el arpa del maestro figuereño. Quiero comprar para ti una casa bella que tenga lirios y claveles al entrar, donde se cojan con la mano las estrellas, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar, donde se duerma con el ruido de la mar.
Wow, I can hear the applause.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Very nice.
And we're here on J Street, 129 J Street, which we've been here for 21 years. So we often get the question, how long have you been here, and why haven't I seen you before? And so we have been here for 21 years. We're a nonprofit organization that has a statewide mission to support and encourage traditional arts and culture wherever we find it in New York State. And we started the gallery and the storefront here in 2000 because we felt we needed a physical presence, that we did a lot of work outside of Schenectady, and we did a lot of, have a lot of administrative functions, but we really didn't have a way to draw people into us. And so the storefront and the gallery has been perfect in that we have a presence in Schenectady that people can come in. We welcome visitors. Under COVID, we are trying very hard to keep our visitation down at any one point, but we are open. Artists in the gallery are selected partly because they are already known to us through our statewide efforts. So maybe they reach out to us directly. That does happen here at New York Folklore in Schenectady, but mostly people come to us because we offer technical assistance and professional development to artists, to community members, and to small community-based organizations. And in the case of Jean Hua, for example, he attended we gave an online series of lessons we called Business 101 for folk and traditional artists. And Jean Hua was one of the participants of that online class that we ran. So right in front of me are some items that are part of our gift shop and our sales gallery. And again, it covers the spread of New York State. So and here is a woven basket of pine needles made by a woman in Binghamton, in Vestal actually. Her name is Carol Lukovich. And she came to us, I think she found us and came to us. We have some pens by George Olson, who's a resident of Schoharie County. And I think we reached out to him. So again, a variety of ways that people reach us. These carvings, carved Santas, are Ben Reynos. He's a gentleman from Washington County, New York. We have a variety of different cards. This one, for example, is the work of Hatice Erbas Sakunlu, who is a Turkish Ebru artist and lives in the Rochester area. It's art that she learned as a student in Turkey, and it includes paper cutouts, but also a kind of paper marbling that happens. That's the underside of the card. What else do we have here? These books are Ellen Graff's. She's the spouse of our featured artist, and so the book details the way that Jean Hua and Ellen met, and then their married life together. Another item, we have a lot of work by Bernard Domingo, who lives in Yonkers in Westchester County, and he's originally from Zimbabwe, and makes these beaded wire animals that he crafts. And we have several of his work. He is a good seller in the gallery shop. A long time ago now, when Lion King was at Proctor's, he made us an entire display window of animals from the Lion King show. So that was a memorable occasion for us. And we have some I think they're called worry dolls. They're made of lamb's wool, so they're nice and soft, kind of an item that can bring you comfort, I suppose, in this trying era. And it's by a woman by the name of Catherine Brunig, who is has a farm in the Hudson Valley. These two items actually are pretty indicative of regional traditions in New York. We work with a lot of folks who represent ethnic communities, but in the case of this bowl and table by Keith Armstrong, these are coming from a northern forest kind of occupation where rustic furniture making was something that you did by taking the wood that was in your woodlot or your backyard and creating furniture from it. And he has this wonderful bowl that he's made that he's hollowed out probably a burl on a tree, I would guess. But woodworking is something that New Yorkers, especially those who inhabit the North Country, the Adirondacks, or the Catskills, because it's a forest economy, woodworking is certainly something that is indicative of a traditional art within New York State. So people often ask, what is folklore? And it's a confusing term because I think people hear the word folklore and they automatically, their mind goes to thinking about things that are maybe old fashioned, or they're based in the past, or people will say, oh, that's Appalachia, for example, because we all have an idea of Appalachian culture being a certain way. But folklore really is contemporary. It's everybody shares knowledge that's passed down from person to person, passed along, and not even through history, but maybe from person to person. They share ways of making a recipe, for example, or the ways of planting a garden, or the kinds of plants you put next to each other. They maybe they share a musical tradition and they teach another person. So hip hop, in case in point, hip hop culture is really based in an oral tradition, and so folklorists would say that's all part of the kinds of items that we put under that big umbrella called folk art or folklore. So we are really looking at contemporary expressions of culture, and we're looking at culture that changes with the time. So the COVID-19 pandemic is a case in point. All of a sudden we had to rethink how we maybe did some everyday activities. People began to create masks. Some of them are incredibly beautiful and picturesque. I've seen some Haudenosaunee, some native New Yorkers who've made beaded masks using traditional beadwork technology or skills. So people have taken what they already know and then they've crafted something else. And so that's kind of the dynamic of folklore, is we have this knowledge that we pass on, or we pass to from one to another, but we also, in that sharing of the knowledge, people use their own creativity and put their own stamp of innovation on those expressions.
The show you are watching has been produced by SACC.TV. SAC TV is a not-for-profit organization that provides educational programming, seeking to enrich communities by producing shows on culture, science, health, the arts, and more. If you enjoy what you've seen, visit us on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe, like, share, and pass the word around. For more information and to see the latest shows, visit www.sac.tv or contact us as director@sac.tv or by phone at 518-831-9145. For now, back to our program, and stay tuned for more great shows.
I want to bring Ronald to help me a little bit with the maracas for this pajarillo. And yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello. All right. Y a bailar se dijo. You can dance. Ay, Colombia, patria querida, te llevo en mi corazón. ¿Cómo no voy a cantarte, Colombia? Si yo nací en tu región, nací para ser poeta, mi canto de trovador, te lo brindo con el alma, preñada de la ilusión de poderte dibujar en mi criolla inspiración, tu capital, Bogotá. Te sirve de corazón, tus arterias con tus ríos, con tu cauce brillador, tus músculos cordilleras de bastante elevación, selvas impenetrables, tu tropical pulmón y tus ardientes llanuras, un pecho lleno de amor. Eres el jardín de América, donde es la mujer la flor, de púrpura, de belleza, de hacia encanto y amor. Por esto, patria querida, te cargo en mi corazón.
So,
I must say this is live.
One thing that we think is special for New York Folklore in our gallery that might be a little different than an art gallery that you might see in another location is we're very interested, and we think it's very important to talk about people's biography and how their art connects to their culture or their history or their personal experiences. So we often have, or we should, not often, but we should have a bio that talks about the artist that's being displayed in the gallery, whose work is being displayed in the gallery. So this bio of Zhang Hua Lu talks about how he grew up during the Chinese Cultural Revolution and how his art was discredited and considered retro to that communist Chinese government that was asserting itself at that point. And so he talks about in his bio how that art, he did it in secret for many years because of the Cultural Revolution. So this is one of my favorites, and actually the two on either side of it are also special for me. But I think this I like partly because it's just a very beautiful flower with bees around it, and I just think as a natural scene, it's very beautiful. And I don't know if the bees and the flower have a relationship to each other. I assume so. Chinese brush painting often uses that element of the yin and the yang in its painting, so I think maybe that's maybe could be exemplified here with the bees being yin and the flowers being yang. But then I'm not sure if that's really the intention of Zhuang Hua. But these other ones on either side of this flower are really interesting because they're mountains and they're craggy and they're very austere in a natural environment, but then situated in each of these very stark natural scenes are small houses or small villages. And so I think it's just really beautiful how he's positioned the humanity and the human element in this natural world. And I don't know, one would wonder if this is a scene from his region of China, but again, they're just beautiful natural environments with and if you look closely you can see the human element in them. So I think those are my favorites. This is a bowl made by Mark Swanberry. He's a Schoharie County resident, town of West Fulton, and I've known Mark for years. I met him, he was a stonemason and a stone carver, and he's begun to work more in copper. So here's one of his copper bowls. And actually above my head is another item. He's done some copper work that mimics the natural environment. He had an exhibit here last year, and he's made that hornet's nest, totally out of copper, but it looks like a natural hornet's nest. So Mark is one of the artists that we have here in the gallery. So we hope to see you on J Street at some point in maybe this winter, but also when we are open again, when COVID is not something that's in everybody's minds. We hope to see you back out on the street, maybe at the Kids Arts Festival, or maybe we'll be able to have you inside our gallery or inside the shop for a hands-on workshop with one of our artists. So we hope that you'll remember us and look for our programs. Thanks.
Welcome back. I'm still trying to bake the muffins. But finally, I think we're finished. I hope you enjoyed our show today. If you would like to make an order or donate muffins to charity, then please go to the website listed below. With every muffin order, we donate muffins to the charity of your choice. I call it giving your dough to charity. I also encourage you to donate directly to the featured charity today by going directly to our website and getting their information. Thank you very much for watching, and keep on dancing through life by giving to others through love. Let me finish baking these muffins, and see you next time.